to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate and the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that the amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
All right, you heard it. That's public information that's a public video that was put up. All right, public. And you gotta say that for YouTube. Even all praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushua, B'Hashem HaChachodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders, her great millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. That video was shared, and I only thought of one thing about how you have Israelites today, whereas they will even hear that type of someone be just as plain, as blunt as that, and still will turn and pretend as if they didn't hear it, or they didn't hear it, and that nothing was said. And many of our people would just pretend like it'll never happen because the government just won't let that happen. We're talking about those who are non-believers, those who aren't in the truth. But then you have those who are even so-called in the truth will hear that and still take no sense of urgency to get right and to teach the doctrine, but will still lollygag on and do exactly what they've been doing, which is just, making, 2025 their year, setting up the next debate, setting up the next music video, and just don't even think that any of this is of relevance or importance, or it won't happen in their lifetime or anytime soon. And these are people who you call, they're called burying their head in the sand, right? Which means to bury your head in the sand means to ignore obvious problems or dangers, to refuse to face unpleasant realities. Right, to avoid acknowledging or dealing with the problem. And these problems they don't want to deal with is here right in your face, everything she's saying, which all lines up to prophecy, primarily the book of Revelations, in particular the book of Revelation chapter 13, starting from the whole from top to bottom, but the 15th verse to the end speaks upon the image of the beast coming to life, all the way up to the mark of the beast being enforced, whereas the image of the beast as we always explain, is the Roman Empire system back in full effect, which the Roman Empire system went from a so-called democracy to an empire. So all the power was taken from the people, and instead it was given to the emperor. In this case, it's going to be the hands of a few, which are your international bankers, as well as the wicked elite, as we say, or the top 1%. The same people you see sitting up on the platforms telling you openly what it is that they're going to do, what they're planning on doing, that they're going to push to do. That is not a conspiracy. These are the things that they pushing and wanting to do, which ultimately leads to a herd-like mentality, everybody under one rule, and everybody needs to obey this one rule, whatever it is pushed. It's the Roman Empire system brought back. And another word for it is the New World Order. And then you have the mark of the beast, which the Greek word for mark is charagma, which means a incision. And we're telling you that mark is going to be the chip, which is going to be an imprint or incision in your hand or forehead or anywhere on your body to track you. Okay, this is what they're doing. They're openly telling you that. Yet, what will Israel do? Put their head in the sand. Both Israelites as well as the people in the world. Now, you could send a video like that to all your loved ones who naysayed you, who don't believe, and they still will pretend as if that video doesn't exist. They'll probably stop listening to it while they're speaking. Now, how much more plain could they make it before our people get it? Some will still just choose to deny. And Yahweh Shah already prophesied it. As Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 12 says, and it shall come to pass that at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord Yahweh will not do good, neither will he do evil. Therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink of the wine thereof. The great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So the Lord is going to deal with all these Israelites who are in Babylon the Great, who heard the prophecy, know about the Israelites in one way, shape, or form. They hear us prophesying the doom and gloom that's written in the scriptures and telling them the only way out, which is repentance and coming back to our Lord Yahweh Shai. But as it says, the gospel was both preached to us and them, but the word did not profit them, not being mixed with faith. It doesn't profit them to know that the world that they see or know is about to come to an end, despite the evidence right in their face. I mean, nothing's getting better. Everything's progressively getting worse. So you would think that the elephant in the room, at this point, the elephant in the room is crying out to where everybody has to hear it and see it. And still people are acting like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. And no, the Lord's not going to do anything in our lifetime. We're going to be all right. It's just, it's just rough right now, but it's going to take a few years before things get back to normal. And that's all they're thinking in the back of their head. Things are going to get back to normal. These are the Israelites who have their head in the sand. And it's the ones that really, get under my skin. And then you even have Israelites who are in the truth, supposedly. Even then, they still won't take the time to do what's right, teach what's right, because they deep down believe that the society is going to continue on as normal so that they can continue on with their plans. And that's why the Lord says he's going to search Jerusalem. And all them that say in their heart deep down, the Lord ain't going to do good or evil. Meaning the Lord is not involved. He's not doing anything. You're going to be all right. Everything that happens in the earth is not because of prophecy. It's just because of human nature. It's just things will bounce back. It gives people comfort, especially the other nations, to believe that there's no power at work here, that there's no God controlling anything, because then they believe that everything is just subject to the right person in office, the right bill being passed. And in an instant, things can get back on the right track. But if you have to admit that there's a higher power at work, then you have to admit that you really don't control anything. And it's generally accepted to understand that when the Lord said he's coming back, it's going to be what? Doom and gloom. So who wants to hear that? Well, if you're truly a believer, you will receive that message. I mean, how much plainer did they have to tell you? They're telling you right to your face what they plan on doing and what they want to do. And even then, our people will do what? Put their head in the damn sand. Ridiculous. And the scripture says that what this is ultimately is you creating a wall of lies and believe that those lies are going to protect you. As Isaiah 30:8 says, now go write it before them in the table and note it in the book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get ye out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, meaning the truth of the matter, the reality, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay the wrong. So you trust in oppression. You trust in these lies that they tell you. You trust in this broken system that's literally designed to keep you in debt forever, that's trying to keep you working forever, and that our people, aka the poor, is for the most part on the receiving end of poverty. And you trust in that, and you want to stay on that. It goes on. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh at an instant. So you can see the cracks. Okay, you can see the cracks. It's cracking, and it just keep cracking, and then in an instant, it's gonna shatter. Right? It says, and he shall break it as the breaking of a potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a share to take fire from the earth, or to take water withal of the pit. So the Lord's going to bring this warped reality that a lot of you decide to live in. He's going to bring it to naught. All you Israelites that believe that there's no Jacob's trouble, this is you with your head in the sand. You just refuse to accept the truth of the matter and the reality that you face. You got literally the whole world in mourning and concerned about what the future holds, because even they can prepare of the evils that's coming. And the Lord already told us, and he told us that it's going to be harder on Jacob, worse, because we're already on the poor, on the receiving end, on the bottom. So when everything goes worse, our situation is going to be much worse, because we're already the poor. But this is the lies that our people tell themselves, and they've always had that spirit, that head in the sand spirit. We don't want to deal with the reality. I believe that most of the reason why, if any Israelite that is not teaching that the mark of the beast is a chip, or is not teaching that the image of the beast is the Roman Empire system or what's to come, is because they themselves don't want to deal with it. It's too harsh for them. And isn't that something? You have all this time to build up your faith to be able to prepare yourself for that day. But you just don't want to do it because you don't want to see it happen. You don't want to be in a position where you have to decide your life, or taking a chip, or you don't know where your next meal's gonna come, or you can't go to work. You don't want to be able to. You don't want to even decide that. Like I always say, they don't even, the ones that speak against the chip in Mark of the Beast, they don't even discuss the hypothetical situation if it was the chip and what they would do. To me, that's admission of guilt. That shows fear. But it's no surprise. I mean, the Lord already said it, as Ezekiel chapter 13 says. Verse 10, it says, because, and it's talking about the false shepherds, even because they have seduced my people, saying, peace, and there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar. And that word untempered means not useful. It's not useful. You're using the wrong materials to build the house. What's going to happen is going to fall. But you see, the easiest way to put people at rest is to just say peace and prosperity. There is no Jacob's trouble. We don't have to worry about anything. That puts our people's mind at rest versus telling them the truth. Okay? It says, so they started to build this wall of lies, right? It says, verse 11, saying to them which daubed it with untempered mortar, that it shall fall. There shall be an overflowing shower, and ye, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rend it. So you can build up this wall of lies all you want. It's not going to stop the reality from hitting you. It's not going to stop the storm that was prophesied to happen, where the clouds are clearly dark and they're clearly full of water, and they're about to bring a storm, and the winds are turning up and knocking trees over. It's not going to stop the fact that that storm is going to come, and it's going to blow away that wall of lies that you've surrounded yourself with, because it's tempered with untempered mortar. And and great will be the fall of it, and you will have to experience it whether you like it or not. Yeah, I find that Jake finds comfort to just, even in the world, Jake finds comfort to just keep saying, "Oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen, y'all, but we just got, maybe in a few years, just keep saying that things go back to normal. Things eventually have to go back to normal." And then you tell them and you show them, just like a video like that. Well, look, here's where your world leaders, here's what they're talking about doing, and they still like, "Oh man, I don't, that's just crazy. I just don't see it happening anyway." So yeah, soon things get back normal. They deny, and what you're doing is you're calling the Lord a liar. When you say He will not do good or evil, you're basically saying He's lying. He sent the message, and you say he ain't doing. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not calling Him a liar. I'm just saying it's just not gonna happen. Maybe when I'm long gone, when I'm good gone, right? And you got the evidence right in your face. This year started off with a bang. Nothing but bad news to the world. In this case, it's good news for us believers. That's all you heard. Even each day has continued. When's the last time actual what they would consider good news was released? Especially this year, everybody's just pretending like what's going on in the news isn't happening. Everybody's pretending like that maybe there's a connection between the insurance companies 3 months before this happened said that they're not going to cover wildfires, and it just so happened that they're talking about making certain areas into 15-minute cities. Nobody wants to look into that information. They just put their head in the sand. Why? Because the truth is just too much to bear. Then they have to come to terms with the fact that the Lord is at work. The prophecy does have significance of what's going on. You are living in the end of days, and yes, Yahweh Yahushua is in control, and you will see Him in this lifetime. Lord's will, whoever He preserves, but we will see the Lord in our lifetime. That we can guarantee you through the Spirit. Verse 12, lo, when the wall is fallen, shall it not be said unto you, where is the daubing wherewith ye have daubed it? And that's what we're going to do. When the truth of the matter hits you, when the microchip literally comes to your doorstep, you're just going to be looked at and say, well, where is this lie that you told? That it wasn't going to happen. That is not the mark of the beast. Where's the fruit of your lives? Huh? You're just going to be looking stupid. Goes on. Therefore, thus says the Lord Yahweh, I will even rend it with a stormy wind of my fury, and there shall be an overflowing shower in mine anger, and great hailstones in my fury to consume it, because you call him a liar. The Lord don't want you to put your head in the sand. He wants you to deal with truth, deal with reality. He says it's going to come to pass. Hearken and make the necessary changes so that, Lord willing, you may be received in his good graces. It's going to pass. Why are you lying? Why are you pretending? Why are you making up lies of the prophecy? For all those Israelites who said the mark of the beast isn't the chip, why aren't you covering Elon Musk? Why aren't you covering Donald Trump? Why aren't you covering this technology they're trying to do? Why aren't you covering these, like this video I just played? Why don't you say anything on that? Because you're trying to believe in a lie, and what you're saying is it's not going to happen. And that's why it's just pissing the Lord off. So, verse 14, so will I break down the wall that ye have daubed with untempered mortar, and bring it down to the ground, so that the foundation thereof shall be discovered, and it shall fall, and ye shall be consumed in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Thus will I accomplish my wrath upon the wall, and upon them that have daubed it with untempered mortar, and will say unto you, the wall is no more, neither they that daubed it. So the Lord's going to come and he's going to mock you. For all you put your head in the sand, you're saying the Lord will not do good nor evil. You're telling the seers, see not, don't tell us the truth. Tell us smooth things. Tell us the things we want to hear, such as peace and prosperity. And year 2025 is going to be a good year, brothers. Make sure you sign up for our Passover. Our Passover is going to be huge. This is going to be great. This time we got a musician band coming in. This time we really going to go all out on the chicken. You don't want to miss this time, man. We got the fashion shows going. Oh yes, this is going to be the year. Get your tickets now. Bro, when the Lord brings the hell, he's going to look at these people who are lying to themselves and saying, I have broken down that wall, okay? And saying to you that the wall is no more, neither those that daubed it, aka the false prophets. So we're not supposed to be like these individuals. We're supposed to be aware, as the scripture says, we are not children of the dark. And that's what it all boils down to. You could tell Jake, you can show him the evidence, you can give him the actual footage of them saying it out of their own mouths, and they will refuse. As 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, but unto the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not the children of the night, nor the children of darkness. So that all boils down to that. That's what I just end up saying when you see Jake deny the truth and the reality in their face. I said, well, you guys are just children of the night. But we are children of the day. All right, so that, shalom.